वक्त था वक्त मसीहा न किसी और का वक्त मैं ना आता तो कोई और ही आया होता.
Back to the program now. We having part 4 of Haqeeqa tul Wahi. As you know, guys, I've said it before every week that this is the book that beloved Azur has, approved himself to read. So, guys, do try to get your teeth stuck into it and learn something about it because it's such an incredible book. We try to do our best here, and Khudam, like just to give you a small glimpse of it. Every week we do about 20 pages. So we're in part 4, and we're doing it in 6 different parts. Inshallah, in the next 2 weeks, we'll have completed this segment or the bits that Hazur has approved for this year. So, alhamdulillah, it's a great milestone. And we've covered so many books already of Hazrat Naseem out here on Qadam night, and we're going to carry on as well, inshallah, as long as Allah wills. So, today again, we have Hunan. So, Hunan and Saqib sharing it out. So, this week is Hunan again. So, Hunan, if you can just give us an update of the part that you read for this week and let
So,
us know what you've learned. Alaikum.
so you might have gone through the previous signs discussed in the book last week. This week I'm going to discuss a few of the signs mentioned, pages 160 to 180. So there's a lot of signs in the book. I can't cover all of them. That's why I would request everyone to try and read at least a couple of pages a week. It doesn't take that long to read anyways. So yeah, the book's really faith inspiring as well. So if you can just download it on your phone and it'll be easy for you to read. So Jesus starts off by talking about 19th sign from page 160 where he states that 19th sign is that Khwaja Ghulam Farid, the peer, spiritual mentor of the Nawab of Pawalapur, saw a dream testifying to my truthfulness, on account of which God Almighty imbued his heart with love for me. Khwaja Ghulam Farid, in the book Isharat-e-Faridi, which consists of his sayings, repeatedly testifies to my truthfulness. They believe in what God Almighty communicates to them through dreams, visions, or revelations. Therefore, since Khwaja Ghulam Farid was pure of heart, like Pir Sahibul al-Alam, God disclosed to him the fact of my truthfulness. Many a cleric like Maulvi Ghulam Dastagir arrived at the village of Khwaja Ghulam Farid with the intent to make him reject me. The respected Khwaja himself has narrated these facts in the book Isharat-e-Faridi. Khwaja Ghulam Farid received a letter from some Ghaznavis as well, but he paid no heed to anyone and gave these unenlightened mullahs such crushing replies as silenced them completely. By the grace of God, he died a believer, testifying to my truthfulness. The letters he wrote to me also show how great a love God had placed within his heart for me, and how great a spiritual insight concerning me God had bestowed upon him out of his grace. The respected Khwaja has repeatedly responded to the criticism of my opponents in his book Isharat-e-Faridi. I'm gonna go on to the 22nd sign now, where Hazur says that when I was apprised of the news that my father would pass away after sunset, I, being human, was distressed upon hearing this news. Moreover, most of the means of our livelihood were contingent upon his life. He received a pension from the British government as well as large sum of gratuity, which was which was contingent upon him being alive. Therefore, the thought crossed my mind as to what would happen after his demise. The anxiety surfaced in my heart that perhaps we would face days of deprivation and hardship. All this concern flashed across my mind in the fraction of in a second, quite like lightning. At that very moment, I felt drowsy and received the second revelation, Alaysa Allah bihikafin abduhu, meaning that is not God sufficient for his servant? My heart was strengthened by by this revelation from Allah, as a gravely painful wound is instantly healed with a balm. The fact that it has been verified repeatedly that divine revelation has an intrinsic quality to grant comfort. At the root of this quality lies the certainty which one acquires regarding God's revelation. Alas, what kind of revelations do these people have that despite their claim of being that the recipients of revelation, they also confess that their revelations are only conjectural affairs and they do not know whether they are satanic or divine? The harm of such revelations is greater than their benefit, but I swear by God that I believe in these revelations of mine, just as I do in the Holy Quran and other scriptures. The 34th sign states that is that a son of mine had died, and my enemies, as their wont, were overly jubilant at his death. At this, God granted me the glad tidings, saying that instead another son would soon be born. His name would be Mahmud. I was shown his name inscribed on a wall. It was then that I published this prophecy among thousands of friends and foes by means of a green handbill. 70 days had not yet passed since the death of the first son when this son was born, and he was named Mahmud Ahmad. The 35th sign states that is that after the birth of my previous son, Mahmud Ahmad, God gave me the glad tidings of the birth of another son. This too was publicly announced by means of a handbill. Accordingly, the second son was born, and he was named Bashir Ahmad. The 36th sign states that is that God gave me the glad tidings of the birth of yet another son after Bashir Ahmad. This too was published for the people by means of a handbill. Thereafter, the third son was born, and he was named Sharif Ahmad. 37th sign is that after this, during my wife's pregnancy, God Almighty gave me the glad tidings of a daughter and said, um, Sunasha'u fi al-ihli, meaning that she will be brought up among ornaments, that is, she would not die young, nor would she face privation. Accordingly, a daughter was subsequently born, who was named Mubaraka Begum. 7 days after her birth, exactly on the day of the Haqeeqa, Islamic celebration of the birth of a child, the news was received that Pandit Legram was murdered. Anyone who doesn't know who Pandit Lekram was, he was like one of the greatest enemies of the promised Messiah, and he used to talk against the promised Messiah. So the news was received that Pandit Lekram was murdered in conformity with the prophecy. So Hazur states that thus two signs were fulfilled at one at the same time. The 38th sign states that is that after the birth of the daughter, I was given the glad tidings of the birth of yet another son. In keeping with the previous practice, that happy news was publicly announced, and then a son was born, and he was named Mubarak Ahmad. And then the 41st sign says that is that some 20 to 21 years have passed since I published a handbill that God had promised me that he would grant me 4 sons who would live long. In my book, Mawahibur Rahman, on page 1391, is a reference towards this prophecy. And encomium that is all praise and encomium belong to Allah the Almighty, who bestowed 4 sons upon me in my old age, and thus fulfilled his promise that I shall give you 4 sons. Accordingly, those 4 sons are: one, Mahmud Ahmad; second, Bashir Ahmad; third, Sharif Ahmad; fourth, Mubarak Ahmad, and all of them are alive and well. So that's what happened in these 20 pages, and inshallah, we will discuss what happens in the next 20 pages in next week's Qudam night, inshallah. Jazakallah.
Brilliant, Jazakumullah, Hanan. Very, very good and very comprehensive presentation. Who can deny the signs of Allah after this? And this is why this book is so incredible, and as a Muslim of Islam makes it so clear on all of these points that his coming was a truthful coming and wasn't false. So Jazakumullah.